Hello, ladies. Welcome to this community call. I'm here with Coach Becky, and today we're going to be talking about. Actually, Becky made a nice intro, so we're going to let her tell us what we're talking about.
So in our last community call, we pulled back the curtain on a day in the life of Danielle, talking about her routines, her habits, and what helps her stay consistent throughout the different seasons of life. It was such a great conversation and gave us a glimpse into what it really looks like to balance health, fitness, family, and everything in between. But today, we're taking things a step further and diving into one of the most important foundations of long term health and body composition: strength training. There's a lot of confusion around how hard you should be training, how much weight you should be lifting, what progressive overload actually means, whether you're doing enough or maybe even too much. So today we're going to clear things up. And honestly, there's no one better to have this conversation with than you, Danielle. So let's jump right into the first question.
And you,
So,
Becky, like you've been training a long time too, right? Like when did you start weight training, would you say?
16, so 30 years ago.
That's amazing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember meeting Becky and I used to work together at a bar. She was a server and I was a shooter girl and then a bartender. But I like from someone who like has always been into physiques and stuff, I remember seeing you and you had like your nice square shoulders and good posture and I remember your boyfriend telling me just about like how strong you were and stuff like that. I'm like, that's awesome. So it's funny that we're here together,
Yeah.
still doing those things many years
20
later.
years later. Yeah. That's awesome. Okay. So, Danielle, why is strength training one of the most valuable things you can do for your long term health and metabolism? And why is it more important for women after 35?
Yep. And guys, full disclosure, I've got my notes here because I have a tendency to go off on tangents and I want to make sure I hit all my points. So I do have my Google Docs behind me here and I'm taking or have notes that I prepared ahead of time. You're going to get a set of client-facing notes to go with this call. So it's all going to be here. Even if I do go off on tangents or miss things. So muscle is like your insurance policy. So as we age, we do naturally lose muscle mass and strength if we don't challenge it on purpose. So building and maintaining the muscle mass helps support your metabolism because every ounce of muscle is metabolic tissue and it burns calories at rest, even while you sleep. So in that way, it does keep your body burning more like a furnace, and therefore we need more calories being taken in. But it also helps improve blood sugar regulation, which is directly correlated to energy levels and also impacts your hormones. It does support hormone health. Of course, you can only help your bone density situation through resistance training. Okay, Jennifer is hopping on, which is great. And then it reduces your risk of injury. Like if you're klutzy like me and you fall, it's good to be able to catch yourself. But if you don't have the muscle and strength to like protect your bones and your joints, like you can injure yourself. And I think we all know someone who has aged and fallen and broken a hip or an arm or something, and it's just it sucks. So if you can be strong and preventative of those things, hey Jen, thanks for hopping on. If you have any questions as we're chatting, just raise your hand and this is meant to be interactive, or you can wait till the end. But good to see you. Um, and improving your balance and mobility, because as you are training your muscles, going through the range of motion of those exercises, you are thereby helping support your range of motion and joint stability and mobility. So in
Right.
that, it makes everyday life easier. So, the goal here is not to become smaller, but it's to become more capable. So muscle is one of those very few tissues that will actually pay us back for decades.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so do you want to talk about progressive overload? I know you're asking me the questions, Becky, but you know just as much as me and you have the same notes, so it's up to you.
Well, yeah, that was the next question. Maybe you can touch on it first and we'll see where we go with it.
Okay.
So, how does progressive overload actually work? And how do you know it's time to increase your weights?
Okay, so here's the misconception. A lot of people think it's just adding weight every workout, and that's not necessarily it. That's not what it means. So, progressive overload simply means giving your body a slightly bigger challenge over time so it has a reason to have to adapt. The body doesn't know pounds, it doesn't know where you're putting the thing. When you're doing your exercises, it just understands tension and effort and it records that every time that we work out. So you can achieve progressive overload by adding weight, yes, given that you're doing the exact same motion with the same form, same intensity, that ends up being a good variable to add the weight. Increasing the reps, adding sets, so more overall volume, but improving your technique. This is why I invite you to record yourself doing sets, send them to me. If you're comfortable, I can like critique them in the group for the benefit of everyone, or I can do the same exercise and kind of break it down and talk about the common mistakes with it. So we'll get into like the technique and a stinginess because I think I talk about this a little bit later, but our body really wants to make things easy for us. So it's so easy to accidentally cheat movements when you're doing an exercise, like through twisting, through like using momentum. And again, our body wants to kind of like share the load and save as much energy as possible. And so it gets really efficient at and sneaky at cheating. Just want to say that. Slowing down the the lowering phase. So that's the eccentric contraction. Your muscle is lengthening as you are lowering the weight. It's more tension, and you can, if you slow that part down, that can increase again the stress response across your muscle. Um, Increasing stability demands. I don't love this one because like I remember being a personal trainer and going to the gym and it's like, okay, we've done dumbbell curls. Let's throw you on a Bosu ball and get you doing it. It's just like I find it distracting. So that one, or do it on one leg, it's not my favorite. Like there's a place for functional training, but if you want to really isolate a muscle group, I say like keep that movement very strict
And
and not
strategic.
add, yeah, compound movements. Like don't make it all fancy. Like I don't want to bash F45, but if you're like doing a reverse lunge with a curl and a press and you're doing all of these things at once, you're not targeting the muscle. You're just kind of burning energy at that point and not really
Right.
building anything.
I
Um,
think, I honestly think that's why you've been getting such great feedback on all your how-to videos
mhm.
because you're really actually demonstrating the movement, showing all the little lifts and twists and the exact form, how you should feel it, where you're pushing out from your heel and where you're straightening your back. So I think it's awesome that you do that for everyone.
Thank you. Yeah, and it even it's like a form check for me too. I'm like, oh yeah, I have to pay attention to that detail because again, if I'm not mindful of it, I can slip into old like cheaty habits. Um,
So
Resting
next
a
question.
little. I'm just finishing the different ways of achieving progressive overload. So another one is resting a little less between sets because you have less of that recovery. But I like to reserve that technique for more like when we're in a fat burning phase and it makes sense to go through the exercises more from a conditioning perspective. Because I think what's better is lifting more overall weight, especially when you're like trying to build. I'd rather you take that rest time so you can do the work the next set with the heavier weights, et cetera, et cetera. And then
Right.
just getting closer to muscular fatigue. So this is where we have to be careful in what we do here because like a lot of people like train to failure, but a lot of you come in here with overtaxed nervous systems and stressed out bodies, so we don't need to beat you into the ground any further. So I'm like once your metabolism is up and you're feeling better and you have that capacity again, then I think doing um a set going to failure maybe for the last set of the last exercise of then it's okay. But that's a very can be a very advanced technique and I never want to risk injury in here because that's no fun. Becky, what were you going to say?
One of our other coaches, Glenda, always says, always leave a couple of reps in the tank.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's exactly it, right? Because if you, let's say, gas out your first one or two sets, that's actually impacting your nervous system. So your nerves cannot physically do the work after that, even though your muscles could have taken more work, if that makes sense.
Right. Absolutely.
That's why, yeah, leave one or two in the tank. Like I think I don't know if this is in the notes, but those last few reps should feel really hard. You should start struggling to get the form. They're getting a little sloppy. Um, but you do want to leave one or two ugly ones in the tank, I think, for sure.
Leave the ugly ones in the tank, right?
Yeah. So and some people think like, how quickly do I up the weights or how quickly do I do more work than before? Like just a little bit. Your body's keeping the score. Like if you are doing 3 sets of 15 of a certain weight and you can do all those sets, like it's time to attempt to do a heavier weight, especially if you're able to do like 17 or reps or more reps. What am I getting at? And so as you up the weight, maybe you can only do 12 or 15, 12, 12. Cool. And then the next week it's 15, 13, 13. You know what I mean? And it's like you can do a little more than you did the previous week and you know that you did your job. It's not like you go up 5 pounds every workout or anything like that. So that's why recording is really helpful. Um, I have it like every set should have a purpose. Did you want me to get into that? Okay. So this,
Well,
I-
I think Jennifer had a question.
oh, sorry, girl. No? Okay.
Okay.
Eating her lunchy munch. That's okay.
Yeah, I'm having my lunch. No, I just put or until you lose form. I find if when I mean, I haven't been great the last 6 weeks, but when I am doing the moment I feel like I'm losing my form, then I'll stop because I don't know. I think that's a good one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of said that in there, like they're starting to look ugly, you're starting to lose your form. And so I would like at
Right.
that point try to like that's where you have to focus extra hard and like depending on the lift, right? Because
Right.
if it's a big lift, you don't want to like fudge with your form. But if it's something
Absolutely.
like safe like a bicep curl, you're like, okay, the form's getting ugly, but I'm gonna try to do good form for one more rep or 1.5 more reps, just like that's where
Yeah, or
like
apply
you
it
have
like
to test it, right?
yeah, I apply it more to like deadlifts or weighted squats or something that I'm more not in a isometric thing like bicep curls, more so when I have to rely on my whole body being able to lift.
Right.
Yeah,
Um, so I
that's
don't.
I wouldn't compromise the form and try like that's when you start listening. You're like, and I'm done.
Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Really good point.
All
Um,
right.
every set should have a purpose. So it doesn't have to feel like you're dying. No, but it should feel like intentional. And so warm-up sets are good because they help you practice the movement, they prepare your joints, they kind of wake up your muscles. Don't ever jump into a set going right for the heaviest weight like you should do one or two. And when I do a warm-up set, I don't do the whole 15 reps. Like maybe I do if I have time, but it's more like, okay, this feels pretty good. I'm going to grab something medium weight and then I go into my set. So it's more like a 3 to 5 scale out of 10 effort for those. And then the working sets, those are supposed to challenge your muscles. Like 7 to 9 out of 10 effort, you should think, I could maybe do 1 or 3 more good reps. That's the whole leaving the 1 to 3 in your tank. So again, failure isn't the goal. Muscle growth happens from getting close enough to failure consistently, but it doesn't have to be failure. So going to complete failure every workout, that increases your fatigue, it makes recovery harder, it doesn't necessarily build more muscles. And that sometimes that's when you make yourself so frigging sore that you're like, now I can't go to the gym for 2 or 3 days. You should all
Right.
like just you should be able to go the next day. Maybe not do the same muscle group, obviously, but you should not feel so sore that you can't go to the gym the next day.
Right.
So, what should a set feel like? This is the thing. You really
And
need to focus on the primary
how
sensation.
should your sets feel when you train the muscle, not just the momentum?
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's getting into. Do you want to talk about like the sensation in the muscle or like I'm on like what should a set feel like? Do you want to chat about that,
Yeah,
Becky?
go ahead. Go ahead. You're so good at it.
Okay. So the sensation needs to be like in the muscle. So if you're doing squats, what are the primary muscle groups? Quads and glutes, right? Um, RDLs should be hamstring and glutes, rows, upper lats, even biceps a bit. Um, but again, in a row, like a back exercise, you should be thinking about your lats. It's a huge muscle. Um, and that's what you're aiming for. You're not just like moving the weight from point A to B. You're like, I'm squeezing my lats, I am squeezing my glutes, I'm contracting the muscle to move the weight. So a little discomfort from effort is normal, but again, you should feel it in that target muscle, not in the joint, not in the tendon, like right in the center of the muscle group you're working. It is it's tension. It's can be like a burning sensation, not like nerve burning, but like lactic acid buildup, right? And so sharp pain is not good, joint pain is not good. But we want like muscle fatigue over joint irritation. The burn is okay, but like a sharp pain is not.
I'll
Um,
go.
you want to talk about tempo, what that is, Becky?
Yes, actually. Okay, so tempo, a lot of people actually talk about this because what is a good tempo? People often rush their lifts. So a slower tempo actually improves technique, your muscle tension, your joint control, and mind muscle connection. So simple recommendation would be think 2 to 3 seconds down, a brief pause, and then lift with intention. So don't just let gravity win. That's not good. Control the weight. Don't let the weight control you. So, how hard should you work, Danielle?
I go with the notes because yeah, like I like a slower tempo because you can focus on technique, the tension, again, being mindful of your joints and that mind muscle connection. So I agree with you. Like I think you don't have to do fancy tempos. Like it's a very advanced technique. Like I think 2 seconds up, a slight pause, 2 seconds down, depending on like what kind of lift it is. This is where you have to be careful because when you pause at the bottom of a movement, hold on a second. I just I did have like speaker. 1 second. Does it look like I'm the speaker? No, here, I'm just gonna go back to this checkerboard one. Show grid. Hold on. This is annoying. There it is. Okay, gallery. We'll just go back to gallery. Apologize, guys. Okay. When you're lowering the weight, yeah, you're not following gravity like Becky said. Like it's again, our body's so sneaky. It really wants to cheat. So you are controlling how that weight goes down again from the muscle that is working. And then the pause at the bottom, like people just lose it for a second. They will rest at the bottom unknowingly. They just go like, and then they start pulling it back up again. And so instead of doing a set of 15 where it's like constant under tension, you are doing like 15 reps of one set.
Yeah.
Like one
Yeah.
rep 15 times versus a set of
Yeah.
15,
Yeah.
right? So it's like focusing on flexing that muscle throughout its range of motion. Um, how hard should you work? So our rate of perceived exertion, RPE scale, 10 is like, again, you kill yourself, you have nothing left. You can't physically do one more rep. So we never go there. There's no reason to go there. Um, one more, a nine would be like there's one left in the tank, eight is 2 reps left, seven is 3 reps left, six is like you could keep going comfortably. Um, this is where we want you actually, like a six or a seven or a six, sorry, a 7 and 9. Um, Again, you don't ever want to max out because that's counterproductive for all the reasons that we talked about already.
Right.
So,
With your nervous system.
right, and then your muscles lose because you've like crashed your nervous system. When
So
should you increase? Oh, sorry. You asked me the questions.
when should you increase your weight, Danielle?
Good question, Becky. Um, so if you hit the top of your rep range with great form and you still have 1 or 2 reps left in there, it's time to increase the
Yeah,
so if you're doing 8 to 10 reps and week 1 you're doing 20 pounds times 8, week 2 is 20 pounds times 9 times 10, etc. over the weeks. What is it? And then 25 times 8, like it should remove the guesswork. This is why it's a good thing to record all of this in the app because you can look back and be like, oh, I did that weight, 3 times 15 last week. It's time to go up. And, for smaller muscle groups like shoulders or biceps, like going up, hopefully you or your gym goes up by 2.5 pounds at a time, from the 10-pound weights to the 12.5 to the 15. Because it's a big jump to go from 10 to 15
10 to
with a
15.
smaller
Absolutely.
muscle group. But for your lower body, you could like add a plate probably on the leg press if you really wanted to, because it's being distributed over several muscle groups working together. Um, yeah.
What happens if you're stuck?
Okay. So this is probably worth discussing because everybody gets frustrated when they hit a plateau. But they are normal. This is the thing. And you'll notice it with your nutrition too. It's like you're putting in so much work for a period of time and it's like nothing's changing, nothing's changing. Sometimes your body just, there's this like bridge of incidents where you put it the work and it finally climatizes. So,
Right.
um, there's ways to progress without adding weight necessarily. Again, adding reps, improving the technique. Like I had been doing the same weight for glute thrust for a long time, for deadlifts for a very, very long time, but I got stingier with my form, more deliberate with my tempo. Like it's a game of centimeters and inches when you're weight training because like even just foot placement or where you're placing the weights or aiming, like it can all stress the muscle in a way that is gonna lead to progressive overload and not necessarily go up in weight. But eventually you will because form follows function and your body has to adapt. That's what we're here to do. One reason why you might not progress is if you're like in a deficit and you're literally losing body weight, body fat, like that's what we're here to do when we're in the deficit. But if you're down 5 pounds and you're doing a deadlift, like you don't have as much weight to kind of throw back with you. I remember I got really freaking strong when I was pregnant because I would just like heave my weight backwards, like my little bowling
Ah,
ball belly, and I was just like, wow, I'm strong. Um, but yeah, adding reps, improving technique, slowing down that lowering phase, adding a pause at the hardest point. Oh, that's one I haven't done in a while, but like right at the where the weight feels the heaviest, just like hang it out there 1 or 2 seconds. That's tough. Or increasing the range of motion. So instead of doing like a regular dumbbell curl, now you're on an incline. So you've got to go even further with that range of motion. You're going against even more gravity. That's the difference between doing a reverse lunge and a Bulgarian split squat because the range of motion is deeper and longer. Um, so, like it says here, a split squat instead of a squat, single arm row instead of a supported row. Um, yeah, what else do we want to talk about? Actually, again, focusing on the target muscle, doing the work. Um, Missing workouts is the biggest plateau creator. So, if like being consistent is going to be a huge part of like your progression.
absolutely. Okay, so the importance of recovery. Why is recovery a critical part of your results, and how can overtraining slow the progress?
hmm Yeah, just from a personal standpoint, like I really was in the belief that more is better and that like it was gonna work. Like I would just beat my body into the ground and it would just magically build muscles and lose fat, and that wasn't the case. And I really did go backwards at different times. So muscle, again, it's not built during the workout, it is built in between and afterward. Training provides the signal, but the recovery provides the adaptation. So that includes having sufficient protein, sleep, even the nutrition with like your carbs, your fats, your micronutrients. um, walking to help with recovery, muscle hydration. Like some of you guys have gotten better with your water, but you still got to drink your water. And even like stress management, like if you're working hard in the gym all day and then you have a very stressful job and you're just go 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 all the time, like it's hard on your body and that can even interfere with your sleep, which interferes with your recovery, but that's a reason a lot of you guys are here. And even just full rest days. I was having a call with who was it? Oh, one of our clients, and she was like, oh, a lady, and Carrie Ann was like, and on rest days you rest, because she comes from like the school of thought of us, like where like if I have the time, why wouldn't I, right? Like because you need to have that rest, right? So more is not always better, but better is better.
Absolutely. Okay, so you don't need to be sore.
Tell
This
me more about
deserves,
that.
right?
Tell me more about that.
This deserves its own section. Soreness is not a proof of effectiveness. You can have an amazing workout, zero soreness, excellent progress, likewise, extreme soreness, poor recovery, or minimal progress. Don't chase soreness, chase performance.
Yeah, like I remember I used to think I would wear it like a badge of honor, like, oh, worked so hard yesterday and all this soreness is going to turn into beautiful muscles. No, it turns into injuries and exhaustion. So, and like
Yeah.
it's kind of fun. Like the goal is, yeah, do the work. And if you're like, you can feel it the next day, that's okay. But like that crippling soreness is not a good thing. Um,
No.
so that's why rating workouts in the app again is so important of like rating them so we know, is it too hard? Is it getting easier? Or all those things. So 1 to 3 is the very easy. So that might be a walk, a recovery day, recovery work, and that's okay that it's super easy. And then a training day, like maybe it's like a little bit lighter one, um, would be 4 to 5. So like maybe you do need a harder training program. This is why we want you to rate the things. 6 to 7, that's a solid session. You're working, but you've got some left. And then 8 is the sweet spot. It's like challenging, and you could do another 1 to 2 good sets. So on your main lifting days, I would be shooting for like a 7 or 8. I would keep like the max workouts like that are around that 9 range, like maybe once a week. Again, it depends how long you've been here and where you are in the program, because the longer you stay with us, the better your recovery should be, the better your metabolism should be. You should be able to push harder down the road. But usually in the beginning, we have a bit of like a babying of your nervous system in a recovery period to kind of reset things and calm things down. And that is a necessary thing. I do that too. Or sometimes, like, maybe nothing's wrong. You've just been training really hard for a while and you need like what's called a deload week where you maybe do 50 to 60% of what you normally do, just to kind of like, again, allow that like fuller recovery and recalibration before going harder again. And coming back to, go ahead.
Quality over quantity. How do you train smarter so your body can recover, adapt, and continue getting stronger?
What was the question? Say that again, Becky. Sorry.
Quality over quantity.
Oh, yes. Yeah, this is what I'm trying to talk about is it is
Yeah,
everything we do here is quality, from the quality of your food, the quality of your workouts, the quality of your recovery. Like it all counts.
matters.
Days
Yeah.
of just calories in, calories out, and like being able to like live off of coffee and cigarettes. Not that I ever did that, but like, it's just not a thing anymore. So, most people, we come from the background of more sweat is like more calories burned, that's better, or more soreness, oh, I did more work, that's better, more exercise is better. Instead, it's about better reps, better form, better consistency, better recovery, um, therefore, better long-term progress. I swear it's my tagline, like better is better. We do it better here. We have a better way. Like it's just, that's why like people come in and they're working their asses off and hard, but it's could be better. And it's usually the better that is like the difference between staying stuck and making progress.
And I feel like I'm always a broken record when I say slow and steady wins the race and trusting the process because it's not a quick fix. It's better is better. Everything we do is better nutrition. You're right. All of that. So, okay. So, next one we have form before load. We've talked a little bit about that one. Um, Confidence comes from competence. What do you have to say about that, Danielle?
That was another thing that I like put in here because I love that saying. But like the whole point of you guys being in here is to empower you to understand your bodies, understand these methods because they work long term, not just for a moment in time. So, for women who are intimidated in the gym, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to do fancy lifts or lift the heaviest. You just need to do a little more than you did the previous week. That's why we have the videos of the exercises so that you can build the confidence in proper form. And again, I invite you to send me and Becky videos or your coach videos.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to post it in the group so that we can be like, this is great and try to shift this and do this differently. Um, so strength is just not something that is inherently here. It is something that you build over time. So, three takeaways I want you to have is train the muscle, not your ego. Choose the weight that challenges you while allowing good form because you won't get far if you're injured. And again, progress does not necessarily come from increasing the weight, but better reps, better control, better like sensation in the muscle and again being consistent it always wins. And so again, leave the gym feeling like you could come back tomorrow. The best workout is the one that leaves you, it's not that it leaves you exhausted, but it's one that you can recover from and repeat consistently for months and then years because you want to make this part of your operating, your lifestyle and who you are.
All right. So do we have a little bit more time or is that a wrap?
I can get into cardio a little bit. I think I can go for another like 10-15 minutes or so.
Okay. Um, okay. Let's see here. So, how does cardio fit into each phase of our program and why isn't more always better?
This is really important. Lean in, boys and girls, or girls. So the goal is not to burn as many calories as possible. The goal is to choose a type and amount of cardio that supports the current phase that you're in and your recovery. Again, so there's different cardio zones. I'm going to keep this simple. Zone one is like recovery, very easy. You can breathe through your nose, have a conversation. This is just like a leisurely walk or bike ride, or like even mobility work. It's like 2 to 3 out of 10. So again, that the purpose is for recovery, blood flow, stress reduction. Because if you are encouraging blood flow to muscles that have been worked, that is like better nutrient exchange. Your muscles can take what they need and also get rid of the metabolites that have built up, like the damage in the cells from those workouts. So then it gets moving out of there. And it feels nice. It's good for your mental health in this good weather. Sorry for the clients that are in the very hot states, but it's like much better for us now. And again, stress reduction. Again, stress reduction helps with overall recovery. Zone two, this is an aerobic base. So it's like you could talk but not sing. So your breathing is elevated but controlled. It's a 4 out of 5 out of 10. So like more like a brisk walk or an incline treadmill walk. Easier cycling or hiking. So that is a very good piece of cardio. So this helps your heart health, your mitochondrial health, your energy systems, better endurance, recovery again between your strength training sessions. And it's like a fat burning zone technically, but I believe fat burning zone like comes from everything we do collectively. Like you can do 10 hours in this zone, and if you eat in a surplus when you're not supposed to be in a surplus, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Um, Zone three is moderate, so this is where it gets harder, like a 6 out of 7 out of 10. It's not terrible, but it's working, and there's not much reason to spend a lot of time here because it can create fatigue without um, even the same benefits of the easier or the hard cardio. So I reserve this zone and the harder zones for like performance or if you are in a fat loss phase. Cardio is a good tool that you can use, but here's the big thing about it. Your body adjusts to the amount of cardio you do. So I like um, doing as little as possible so that it's there when I need it to increase the deficit. So, like if you're in your activate metabolism phase and you are doing 1,500 or 15,000 steps a day and a jog and a hit session once a week, it's like now you have to do even more when you're in the fat loss phase or the same amount at least to elicit a response, right? So it's like, let's keep, I'm getting ahead of myself. I have it here in my notes. So 4 to 5, or sorry, zone 4 and 5 is like high intensity. These are like hard intervals because you can't keep this pace for maybe more than 30 seconds to a minute and a half. It's like 8 out of 10. You wouldn't be able to talk during this. This is like sprint intervals, rowing intervals, hill um, runs, or like the assault bike. So that is for cardiovascular fitness and power. Um, it should not be used as punishment from eating. There's really no need to do that here unless it's for funsies. Like once in a while, I will sprint with my dogs. You know, they like run and I try to keep up with it. And I'm like, don't fall, don't fall, don't fall. And like it gets my heart rate up there, but I'm only doing that like once a week, if that. Or sometimes I'll like just like put the incline on high on the treadmill and the speed on high, but I'll only do it like once just to see. You know, I don't spend too much time there. So yeah, cardio should match the phase that you're in. Here it is. So again, in the activate metabolism phase, the goal is building your habits, improving recovery, support, strength training. And so the cardio recommendations in that phase is just walking and tracking your consistent movement. We are not chasing a calorie burn. We are trying to build and repair during that phase. So strength training is the priority. But again, the walking supports the recovery, blood sugar regulation, stress management, digestion. I forgot about that. And then just your overall daily expenditure. So walking isn't the easy option, it is the smart option. So what phase is that? That's activate metabolism phase. In the priming phase, it's very similar. Like we're just prioritizing gentle strength training, daily movement, hitting a step goal, recovery. I think these are a little backwards, but maybe a little zone 2 if someone really enjoys it. Still no need to pile on the cardio. But then in the fat loss phase, this is again where cardio can be a lever, not your first lever. First, we're going to focus on the nutrition, the training, protein, strength training, sleep steps. And then, you know, if we get stuck in the fat loss phase, because you can do a fat loss phase for up to 16 weeks. It's usually not a good idea to go past that, but like we want to see how far we can take the fat loss without starving you or, you know, stressing out your body too much. So if we can add some zone 3 or 4 cardio once in a while to just get to that next level, we can. But the mistake is when people start doing cardio for an hour every day. We don't want to do that. So like keep the strength training high and the protein high, steps high, and then be very honest with your coach. Only add it strategically if needed. Yeah. Do you want to talk about just walking and how it deserves more credit?
Walking definitely deserves more credit. Um, Not only does it feel nice to get out in nature, but it burns calories, improves your blood sugar, supports recovery, and reduces stress. Also, your digestion. And who doesn't love to improve their digestion? So it doesn't interfere much with your strength gains. It has a low recovery cost. It's sustainable. And honestly, what's one form of cardio I should commit to forever?
Walking.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. I have my stepfather was trying to tell my mom that walking absolutely does nothing for you. So we had to put him in his place on that one.
Okay.
So
No, it's what does NEAT stand for again? Non-exercise, I forget. Like it adds to your overall energy expenditure throughout the day. which is okay. It's important to keep it level, but like again, without overtaxing your nervous system or interfering with your recovery. And again, like we talked about, it helps with recovery. Um, so Jen, you're so lovely to have joined us, and there's more we could get into, but do you have any questions or thoughts based on what we've chatted about so far? Maybe Jen's.
Yeah, sorry, just give me a second here. I'm kind of working too and listening. The only question, and maybe I missed it, is like, is there an actual heart rate, like an average heart rate zone that target? Like, I know, like you said, to work at a level of, let's say, 5 to 6 out of 10 or something, but like, I'm always kind of curious what's the best range for my heart range to be in when I'm doing cardio. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah. And there is a formula for it. I believe it's like
Yeah.
220 minus your age times a certain percentage. But this is the thing, like your heart rate, yeah, it will adapt and change as you become more conditioned. But like all those zones, they have like a heart rate range attached to them. So um, we could probably throw that calculator up in the group somewhere because there is a formula to know all the different zones based on your age and things like that. What are you doing right now for
Well,
cardio?
I'm just walking right now, nothing more than just walking. I went hiking the other weekend and I definitely need to improve it. Um, because I find just walking, I'm at about 110 beats per minute. Um,
I feel like
but
that's very
like,
similar to me.
pardon?
I feel like that's kind of similar to me.
Yeah. And then but like if I'm at the gym and I'm doing like heavy lifting squats and stuff, my heart rate gets pretty high. Like after a set, like I'll look at my heart rate and it's like 170. And then I wait for it to come down to like 120 before I start another set.
Nice.
So I don't know if it's like, if that's just my bad heart. Like I just feel like that's awfully high, but maybe that's just the way life is.
Has, this is the thing, it can be high for your, has it always gone like that?
I don't know. I've just been watching it like in the last, like this year. I really would never pay attention to it. And then I was noticing when, like, as I got back into lifting, like trying to lift heavy,
Mhm.
with, the weight, like on my back, uh, I can't, the not dumbbells, the bar
Yeah.
with weights, and then doing RDLs with the dumbbell, like not dumbbell. Yeah. Anyway, heavier is all I'm trying to say. And then I noticed that like after I do 8 to 10, I'm gassed. Like I really gassed out. But maybe that's normal. I don't know. Or maybe I just need to be pushing myself harder cardio wise.
What phase are you in right now?
I honestly, I don't even know what phase I'm in right now. I just, I've
Okay.
been kind of maintaining for the past, like that's more because of me, my consistency. I mean, I still would like to get lower body fat percentage, but I've been maintaining for the last couple months.
I know, but like, do you know if you're increasing your calories right now or if you're in a cut?
No, we've just been steadily increasing them,
Oh,
and they've been pretty much the same around 2,000 every day
that's
for
great.
the last couple months.
Okay, okay. Um, yeah, so the cardio is so you're just walking right now and
Yeah.
but yeah, this is where I think maybe one session a week to condition that a little bit better would improve your recovery between the sets of the squats and deadlifts, right?
Right.
Because it's like your body's having a hard time bringing the oxygen back to like bringing.
Yeah.
So I think like if you're noticing that, like, and you must be going pretty heavy, um, I think doing like at least one session a week would be cool. Um,
Yeah, I was just curious. Like, I mean, I was just noticing. I never really paid attention to it before, and I'm noticing. Oh, okay, I can get my heart rate up really quickly, really fast, and then I didn't know if that was just a genetics, or if that's normal or not. I have no clue. That's
um,
all.
Yeah, no, if I do like a really hard set, mine will jump maybe into the 160s or so. Um, so
Okay. No, that's
Okay.
cool. I just wait till it gets back to a little bit more of a level, between 110 and 120, and then I'll do the next set. But,
mhm.
okay, that's cool.
Yeah, I have a few more notes here, guys, but I'm just going to upload it in the group. And then if you have any follow-up questions to what we've chatted about today, um, ask away. But, more cardio is not necessarily the answer. It's like progressive. It slows progress. So you have to ask yourself, am I sleeping enough? Am I eating enough protein? How am I recovering? How am I managing my stress? Am I being consistent? Is the strength training, am I putting in the effort? Am I hitting my steps? So it's like you don't just automatically think, oh, cardio is the answer. It's like, let's look at everything as a whole. Are we being consistent with that? So, but in the case of Jen and like the recovery between sets, I could see how being a little more having a stronger cardiovascular threshold might help you in the gym
Yeah.
to like recover a little bit quicker between sets, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been consistent the past probably 6 weeks, but outside of that, I find I can't, I won't be able to go heavier for progressive load until I improve that cardiovascular aspect. Does that make sense? Like, because I'm scared to then go heavier.
Couldn't get so gassed in the
Like
set.
it's okay.
Like you're
I guess it just means I do less. I would instead of doing 8, maybe do 5. Um, but
What
yeah, there's
about
definitely an improvement I think that needs to occur so I can do more.
and I would aim for more reps before increasing the weight.
that's what I was
Okay.
just gonna, yeah.
It's like
Okay.
hypertrophy is the goal, right? Like and so I think 10 to 12, if not 15 reps or so is better. Like yeah, you'll
Okay.
get stronger in the 6 to 8 rep range, but like I'm more for like the hypertrophy and really like taxing those muscle groups versus just like it's weird because you need to get stronger in your nervous system and stronger in your joints and tendons, your tendons strength to do more volume overall. So it's like in if we get into the nitty-gritty of it, like you should be doing strength phases and hypertrophy phases. But at the
Okay.
same time, you will get far with just focusing on hypertrophy for a very long time.
Okay, cool.
Like I don't do any strength training. It just comes even just implementing like progressive overload. I am getting stronger. I am lifting heavier, but I'm not doing like anything under 10 reps, I would say. Um, ever.
Okay.
Anything you want to add, Becky? Thoughts?
I think you've done a marvelous job. No, but I think you're so right about doing like all the extra reps. And again, it's how you're feeling. How does your body feel? You don't always want to, we were talking about pushing yourself and being gassed. That's like the ugly reps, right? You want to make sure you have those good reps in there
Yeah.
and make sure you're doing at least 10 to 12. So I really like those rep ranges as well.
Yeah, and it's your energy is going to fluctuate. Some days you're going to feel friggin' strong as hell in the gym, and it's like those are good days. And then you might wonder, like, oh, I don't feel as strong today. And it could be cycle related, it could be recovery related. But this is why tracking it in the app is so helpful because you can see the general trend. Like if you're feeling crappy more often than not, then what's going on there? Whereas why isn't there recovery? Why isn't there progression? And that might be, you need more food at that point, or we are overtraining. But we're very careful with that around here.
Yeah. And again, that's another thing that we look into is as much data as we have, the more we can help you. So if there is some kind of plateau, if we have all the answers there that you've given us, then we can dive deeper and kind of dissect it a little bit more.
Yeah. And I would invite you guys to think about these, play with one of these tools this week when you're doing your weight training. Maybe that's slowing down the eccentric contraction or holding it at the point of like the hardest part of the lift at the end of the set, or um, maybe going to like more failure on the very last set of your very last exercise and just seeing how that feels. Because that's the thing. That's the only time I think it's okay to really go to failure is on the last set because you're going home after that and your nervous system will recover. It's when you blow out at the beginning of the workout that it's like, oh, no, I can't do anymore. And you don't want to necessarily do that too often. All right.
Sometimes I like ending with those slow pulses, the slow ones.
Yeah. Oh, the little burn pulses. Yeah. Not nice. All right. Thanks for hopping on with us, Jennifer, and good to see you, Becky. And I'm going to throw this replay up in the group.
That
Thank
was
you.
great. Have a wonderful day.
See you. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.